Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacha-OK. Well, guys, I'm not saying that I'm all the way situated. I'm not claiming that. It's way too soon to claim that, I'm good, y'all. I'm good. I'm straight. But when I shared that just one email yesterday, a part of me, y'all, feel like I don't need to share any more emails. That one email revealed enough to me. That one email from him, November 28th, 2011, it answered, it spoke to my spirit. I don't know if it reached soul level yet, but it reached my spirit reading that email. The fact that he, he never believed that I loved him. He never believed that I loved him. And it don't matter the reason. It just doesn't matter the reason. The reason he gave was I didn't help plan the wedding. I didn't know that I didn't know that he was planning one. How about that? I mean, I just again we lived 3 hours away and I was in school. So again, it don't even matter that part. I've been hung up on, things like that. I've been focused on the wrong stuff. The why it is, why that, why it is. Looking at the exterior reasons why. But when you go on the inside of the reason why the marriage was the way it was, he never believed that I loved him. So, with that being said, for some reason, that explains everything. For some reason, that puts my spirit at rest. It's like Most High right there on live yesterday showed me exactly what I needed to see to soothe my spirit so I can calm down, so that I can no longer feel responsible. You know, um, I can actually like release now. And again, guys, I'm not saying I'm gonna be on here from here on out saying everything the right way and being, perfect and stuff. No, I'm not saying that. I'm a very expressive, colorful girl. That's just who I am. But my ability to forgive myself, because again, none of this has really been about him. None of this has been about him or any of my exes, for real, for real. This whole channel, this whole experience has all been about me. This is about me. But because other people played a role in my development, they played roles in my development, I'm analyzing them. I'm analyzing what I experience with different people. But again, he didn't believe that I loved him. And to me, that was the core root problem. And I'm one of those people, I have to get down to, I want every stone overturned. I have the kind of mind that wants to know. My mind has the right to know. My mental contract, my mental contract on earth here has a big old sign on it that says the right to know. Yep. So I should tattoo that on my forehead. I should tattoo that on my forehead. The right to know. The right to know. I have a whole bachelor's degree that empowers me with that right. How can I change? How can I be helpful? My sleeves rolled up and ready to work. Put my hands to the task. But I'm the person, if you want to know why something happened, I mean, like, get down to the nitty gritty of it, send me in there. I'll find out. And I ain't going to let that bone go out of my mouth. I ain't going to stop wrestling with it until I get to it. Until my spirit, my soul is satisfied with the truth. So now that, so it wasn't that I didn't love him. And it's possible that it's not that he didn't love me. It's possible. But we will never know now because from the gate, before we even said I do, he didn't believe I loved him. He didn't believe it. Even if he wanted it to be the case, and even if it was true, if you don't believe it, then you're not going to receive it. He could not receive my love. So that's why I felt like I was pouring into a bottomless pit because I was. Disbelief is a bottomless pit that I jumped right into. I jumped into his disbelief and was drowning. I drowned in his disbelief. And that's why I find myself saying, I can't believe I let myself get involved in this situation. I can't believe it. But another thing, too, we didn't have traditional dating. We did not have traditional dating. I rode off the fact that I already knew him since ninth grade. I ran off the fact that he was more like a brother. You know, he felt like a brother to me and not a lover. That's because we didn't date. I didn't get to date him in the way that I needed to know that he was the one for me or not. So our lack of dating contributed and his disbelief in my love for him. Maybe he just couldn't believe that I loved him. I mean, like, I'm there and I'm giving him the love. I'm there and doing it, but it's like he just couldn't believe it. And so it's easy to sabotage something, to not value it or um, possess it too much, control it, or I don't know. I can't. I don't. I can only. I, I don't have experience in that, so I'm limited to the words to describe it because I don't. I don't know what that's like. So, but reading it though, it made sense. I'm like, oh, okay, so at least I know why I suffered, guys. If I was gonna suffer to no end like that, I mean, I feel like I had the right to know why 5 suicide attempts came on my record. No one wants any suicide attempts on their record. Nobody does. But I got 5 of these suckers on my record. And I had the right to know why. Why would I want to kill myself? It just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense. So now I know when love is not recognized, when love is not received, that's almost like rejecting God because love is God. And if he could not believe that I loved him, that it is possible that he believed that God does not love him. It's possible. And how I know for sure is because I begin to question if God loved me because I was with him. I begin to question God's love for me too. Even though I knew, I mean, because I had him, I knew God loved me. I knew my love for him was real. And I really thought I felt love from him. I really thought I did. I thought I felt love, but I just wasn't treated that way. So it was very confusing. I know the love that I have in me, and this is my twin flame. This is my soulmate. That's why I walked right into that marriage and just opened myself up, opened myself up. But I will admit, though, not the very first time, but one of the times early in the marriage, I was like, this man does not care about me the way that I need to be cared about. I'm not saying he don't care, but because we didn't get to date the way we needed to date, I didn't I didn't get to feel the love. I didn't get to feel the care. I don't know. I So I walked right into the marriage wide open, giving all my love. I didn't realize just because you say I do, um, that you have to still kind of work toward something. I don't know. When I said I do, and I was ready to go with him. I was ready to go. I was ready to be married and give it all, and I did. All I know is that I did. And I know we live in a world, regardless to what I say, it's not going to be believed. No one's going to believe that I gave it my all. No one's going to believe that. And that's cool. We don't live in a world that give people enough credit. And that's fine. I understand that. But again, it feels so good and freeing to know that my love was never found. He never found my love. He didn't believe it existed. So he didn't know to look for it. He didn't find it. So it's almost like I went through 25 years of marriage and I was mysterious. It's like he never knew me. And so with that being said, I I don't have to fear other people, you know, because I sincerely, guys, until yesterday, had no idea why my husband left me. I had no idea why. Yes, people can just change their mind and run off. I get that part. I mean, I'm not that slow, you know. I'm not that slow where I can't accept that a person could just change their mind and leave. you know. But I loved him so much. I thought so high of him that I felt like he just wasn't that shallow. He 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 just never came off as the kind of guy that could just leave a woman for no good reason just because he changed his mind. He never came off as that kind of person. He seemed to me, he seemed like he was my twin. He seemed like he was the me. He seemed like me. There's no other way to put the reason why I married him, even though I wasn't convinced. I to be honest, I was not convinced going in, and I didn't hide that. I told him I needed to live with him first. He didn't believe in having sex before marriage, according to him, which I know all that was just, some shit now. He was just being shitty. But he didn't believe in premarital sex. Even though I was married with 2 kids, I still had to wait for marriage to have sex with this man. And I did. That was exciting to me. I'm a gymnast. Give me something to flip out about, give me some reason to do cartwheels. This was fun. A guy is making me wait for sex. This is so cool. To me, that was great and awesome. He was just everything to me. Everything I ever wanted in a man. There was not one thing. There was not one thing I did not like about my second husband. Not one thing. I was completely sold, didn't hold back. But I remember early in the marriage, I had to move into his home. We got married. He already had a home, so I moved in. And with my kids, we moved into his house. And so his brother was there. And I don't know who else was in the house. It was me, him, and his brother. And he had this entertainment center, which I still have. It's down in my basement here at this house. Um, he had this entertainment center, and the top part had like glass doors. And again, I'm new in his house. I don't know his house that well. I'm new. I'm a new wife, in your home. So I go through the family room area there. And as I was walking, I didn't know one of the glass doors was open. And so I walked into it and it split my forehead. I mean, like it drew blood. It split my forehead and it drew blood. He and his brother laughed at me. They laughed at me because I cut myself and drew blood and they laughed at me. At first, it looked like he was concerned. But when his brother laughed, immediately they just laughed at me. And I'm like touching blood. I have my hand on my forehead. And I'm like, is my husband laughing at me while I'm hurt? So, you know, I entered the marriage thinking that this is my twin, soulmate, my everything. And he was. He was, guys. You can't tell me different, right? Because once I made up my mind about him, I was sold. I will admit, you know, I did try to hook him up with my aunt. I was just not sure, like during the dating, like early dating, you know what I mean? Because again, he didn't want to have sex. We couldn't live together, we couldn't. And then we could only see each other once a week on Friday. That's the only time he could squeeze me in. Once a week on Fridays for a few hours. That was our dating. So after a few months of that limited level, okay, of interaction, I went, I applied for a master's degree program and went to school. I moved 3 hours away, went to school, and got me a master's degree. I mean, and so we just continued to talk and write a bunch of letters. I mean, like, we wrote a lot of letters to each other. Back then, people actually hand wrote letters, and it was no email like that. So, yeah, I was dating during a time when people actually took their time to handwrite letters. And so we wrote each other, and I was busy working on me, and he was doing what he do, all in church. I mean, he was going to church like 3 to 4 days a week. That's why he had to between work and going to church 3 to 4 days a week during our dating. Um, that I got bored. I mean, I had just came out of a full blown marriage. My first husband was in the military, so I'm a military wife. You know what I'm saying? And this guy acting like he's 5 years old and dating. So I went to school, and by the time I graduated, or it was time for me to leave school, um, he proposed. And I took the proposal because, again, I felt like I already knew him. I feel like I knew him. But reading that email, I realized that he didn't believe that I loved him. He didn't believe it. So that's why during the marriage, he didn't receive my love. I mean, like, my love, like the stuff that come from God. The stuff that come from God, he rejected. But he took the sex, the cooking, cleaning. Um, he even though when he married me, I was in school, he knew I wanted a career. That was clear. But once I married him, his plans, his secret plans, he had secret plans. We had plans together, but he had his secret plans for me that I didn't know about. And the secret plans is what went against everything that we planned together. Everything we planned together was shot down by his secret plans. And until this day, he secretly ran off and married somebody else. So he has always had his secret life. No matter what he would agree to me with, it didn't matter what he agreed to. He knew he was lying. He had his own ideas. He never believed in me. And so even when he walked out, just before he walked out, you know, just before he walked out, like days, weeks, whatever, before he left, that's one of the things he threw up in my face. We were never a power couple. We were never that couple. I just wasn't sure what he meant because that's the way we were presenting ourselves to people. We were coming off that way to others. But reading that email, the way he worded it and everything, it really relieved me and showed me that he was never invested. He was just getting what he could out of the marriage. I was there for life. It wasn't about what you can get or not out the marriage. It was never about what I could get out the marriage. It was never about that. Not for me. It was about what we could do with it. What we could do with this marriage to make this world a better place for Most High. That was a marriage that was supposed to be for Most High's use. It was not for private interpretation. That marriage was not for private use. There was never supposed to be a plan B, uh, secret plans. additional plans. Nothing else was supposed to happen but obeying God. That was it. That was the whole point of that marriage, was to obey God. And together, we had an assignment together. But that assignment will no longer, well, obviously, never took off the ground. So, but now I know why he never viewed me as his wife. He never viewed me that way. It didn't matter how I viewed him. It didn't matter how I showed up. It didn't matter. That's how everything makes sense, guys. Yeah, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for showing me this. And I needed it because of me. I'm the kind of person, you don't just get to walk out on me after 25 years with no real reason other than I don't want to share my wife. Well, you know what, Negro? You did. You chose to, and you did. The moment you made it clear that you didn't want me no more, and then I had my suicide attempt. After that, that was it. We were staying together for the kids' sake. But because we were together at all, we were still effective. We were still effective because we were together at all. But after that suicide attempt, before the suicide attempt, emails like that, you know, it just made it clear to me that no matter what Most High wanted, no matter what I wanted, that marriage is not what he wanted. He never wanted that marriage. And I'm glad, and I had been saying that, y'all. I had been saying that, but I didn't have any proof, the kind of proof that I need. I needed proof all the way. I like to see stuff in writing. I'm a contract person. I don't like depending on people's words because they change. Words change. He said he loved me. He said that he didn't believe in divorce and we were going to be married forever. His words changed. So good thing that I resorted to emails because he never stuck to his word. He never believed in me. He never believed in my love for him. So he could not stick to his own commitments with me. He made a bunch of commitments for 25 years and couldn't stick to them because he didn't believe in me. You can only invest in a person so much when you don't believe in them. You don't believe in their love. My love comes from God, no other place. So I get it. I get it now. I don't feel so bad. I can, I know I did a good job. Even my first husband, he'll tell you I was good to him. He wasn't bad to me per se. He just loved his women. And I always knew that about him. But I'm the one that changed in that case. After I had the kids, I didn't want him running around on me no more. You know what I mean? Our whole dating life, our whole marriage life was with him being with other people. It was like an unspoken agreement, but I knew about it. And because I knew about it, it's like I was in agreement. It was just unspoken. But I couldn't control the fact that after I had kids, I wanted him with me and us. But because he had never experienced just, being monogamous with me, for me to demand that seemed unreasonable. So I had to leave. If I was demanding him to change into something that he had never been expected to do before, and I knew he wasn't going to stop. He had no reason to stop. He had no reason to stop sleeping around all the women. I had never required it. during dating, during the marriage, until I had kids. Once I had the kids, I wanted him to change, and he didn't. And I knew I couldn't live that way. So I had to go. I had to go because I could not live with my husband running around on me while we got kids. Now, before the kids, I did not care. I just wanted my career. Long as I had a career and some money, he could do what the hell he wanted to do. I had the wrong attitude. I had the wrong attitude. I should have helped him. I should have guided him and leaded him into monogamy. But how? I'm the wife. I'm not supposed to be leading nothing. If the pastor at the church couldn't, help, then I knew I couldn't. Men don't listen to women like that. Not to that extent. They ain't gonna give up other women just because you ask. Please. So I had to leave him because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to change him. And I didn't want to try. He was so beautiful. He was so happy. My first husband, he was so happy with his life. And I didn't want to change his life. I didn't. I just left. I left him with the home, the business, and his women. I left him happy and whole. And that's how it should have been with the second husband, too. He didn't have to leave like he did. He could have left happy and whole had he just believed. He just needed to believe that I loved him, that God loved him. He needed to believe that God loved him and that I loved him too. He needed to believe that God sent me. He said he had prayed for a wife. And there was a woman or two that he had, you know, admit talking to, but not like sexually. According to him, one of the women lied about how many kids she had and all this kind of stuff. Women were playing crazy games with him, lying about how many kids they had, lying about their baby daddies and stuff like that, you know. And so what appealed, why he was attracted to me, I was actually married before I had kids. And both my kids got the same father in marriage. My ex-husband never even questioned that. He had no reason to. So again, before him, I was in a marriage where I was faithful to my husband and a good wife and everything. I left because after I had the kids, I needed my husband to focus on us. Even if it was just for a few years, I just needed that. But I knew I wasn't going to get that. So, and I didn't want to break him down. I didn't want to, I didn't want to, I didn't want to beat him over the head for something that I had been approving of already. I just didn't think it was fair to argue and fight with my first husband about him being with other women when I had allowed it. I allowed it. So to argue, fight, and fuss and drag him down and pin him down on the ground, make him stay. I just left because I knew I couldn't handle all of that. I just couldn't. And then I go into the second marriage, and so he pretty much just said whatever needed to be said. Whatever needed to be said to get me to that altar is what he did. And I see that now. I see how it all played out, how it happened, you know. And I really don't need to read any more emails here live. It took me a long time just to get that one out. Because I don't like doing this. I don't like telling my business to the world. I don't like it. I know he hate it. I can imagine he hate this. I don't like it either. We were very private people. We were private people. But once he walked out like this. It's just the way he did it. Most High was pissed and said, no. Now, I don't care. I don't care, guys. But Most High do. He do. He said, hell no. Now, this is the way Most High speak to me. I don't even necessarily speak this way. But this is my inner God voice. My inner God voice is hood. I'm not even as hood. I mean, I'm from the hood, but I went to college, got a PhD. So I'm not even as hood as the God inside of me is. The God inside of me, Most High, he's hood as hell. And when my ex-husband did what he did, Most High was like, hell to the no. That nigga is not getting away with this shit. And he put him on blast. And he's using me to do it. God is using me to expose my husband and his home record. I don't want this job. I don't care to do this. I mean, I'm not going to say it don't benefit me because God always rewards, but I'm just saying, I don't get any pleasure out of this, put it that way. But if I'm going to do the job, I'm going to do it well and do it right. But I'm able to negotiate in the spirit with Most High. That one email is enough. I got what I needed. I don't need to share anymore. Thank you, Lord. Yes. Because I don't like putting all my business on the street. But here I am. Here I am. I'm on the street. Divorce put me on the street. I hit the wall, all whatever stuff people say. At first, I was like, what? In denial of all this. I am a what? What happened to me? What? Oh my God. Now, I'm not really experiencing all these things, but I realize that it is real out here, though. Just because I personally don't experience wall hitting and, you know, not being able to get them in and all this kind of stuff that people say, I personally don't experience it the way that they think. I'm not with anybody right now because I choose not to be. I could be married right now if I wanted to. I could be the first lady at a church right now if I wanted to. I could be the first lady at a church. Pastor was interested in marriage. He was. He wanted to do it his way, and mm, I couldn't do it the way he wanted. I know me, and I know God, and I know what I went through in my first marriage, and I know what I went through in my second marriage, and I'm able to compare those two. And based on those experiences, it's not going to be no third time. It ain't going to be a third time. And if it was going to be a third time, it was probably going to be with Pastor in Florida. It was probably going to be him. But again, this is just me talking, guys. This is just me talking. Most High can switch stuff up, regardless to what I'm saying here. Tomorrow, I could be legally married to somebody, okay? Because that's how Most High is. That's the way he's been in my life. Maybe not your life, but in my life, he's just that dramatic. He's just that hood and gangster in my life. Most High be like, oh, you think you ain't gonna get married again? Girl, here. You finna marry him. And I'd be like, Lord, I don't even know this man. He'd be like, I don't give a fuck. You told me what you thought was gonna happen. I got something for you. I'm just being comical, y'all. But I mean, I just have to explain how the Lord work in my life. I mean, you don't have to agree or understand, but this is how it works. To me, God is some black man in the hood. That's the voice in my head. Most High's voice in my head is some black man in the hood that wish a motherfucker would hurt me and think he gonna get away with that shit. That's all I can say, y'all. And Most High, He back up His word. He back up His word. I'm just a woman. I'm nonviolent for the most part. I was a substitute teacher, Girl Scout leader, Sunday school teacher. I am not the type that be out here talking like this and acting like this. This is not the norm for me. But when my ex got that out of pocket, Most High said, "Oh, nah, mm-mm, nah. There's something called YouTube. Get on there." And I'm like, "Oh, I get to be on TV because Most High know I love being on TV, and He know I love performing. I dance for my Lord. He gave me the gift to dance and you know do all kind of. I'm limber, and I have other people in my family that are just as limber. I have an uncle on my daddy's side that is so limber. I mean, like when the police put handcuffs on him, he can escape handcuffs. He's so limber. He can escape handcuffs. He's a real thin man. I'm a thin woman, and he's a thin man. And we kind of look like I look like my uncle. And we both kind of resemble Cujo Lewis. I think I look like Cujo Lewis, and I think my uncle do. And well, I got Cujo Lewis's forehead, the wrinkles in the forehead that comes from my ancestor Cujo Lewis. So, all right, guys, I just wanted to give y'all that little update. I am not going to be digging up these emails and reading them. I just don't want to. I mean, I really don't. It was the plan to, and that's what I was led to do. And I will admit that I've been putting it off and putting it off. And then yesterday I just said, let me just go ahead and do this. Pull up one. I found one. There's hundreds and hundreds, but I don't want to do that. At least not at this point. Not at this point. I'll put it that way. So I'm satisfied with the one email at this time. It gave me a lot of juicy information, you know? And my ex did point out in that email that he was supportive of me when it came to trying to find work and, pursuing higher education and all that. Well, I appreciate the support, but having a job and going to school was something I was doing before I met you. I mean, like, before we were married, I mean, I was already, it, you know what I mean? Like, before we got married, I was in school. As far as me working, I mean, like, what kind of support are you? I mean, you didn't drive me to work. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, what support is there? I'm not, I'm just confused as to where he was going with all that part. But when you're venting, I had emailed him something, so he was responding. And instead of, being like a compassionate husband, like, oh, baby, you feel like I don't love you, baby? Well, why you don't feel that way? You know what I mean? He just fired back. That was our marriage, he just wasn't loving and gentle and, I wanted him to be that way. And I felt that it was in him to be that way. I saw it, in him. I had so much hope. you know what I mean? But over time, because of the resentment from the adoption and all that, it was just a loveless marriage. Love was there, but it just wasn't exchanged. We didn't we didn't get the fullness of marriage. Our marriage became more about just getting some kids grown. We had a lot of sex and got the kids grown. A lot of sex and got the kids grown. A lot of sex and got the kids grown. That was it. And we're both just nice people in general because I'm just naturally nice. He's naturally nice. So we got along. We were able to stay together for 25 years off of sex and raising kids, sex and raising kids, just because we're both nice people. So people be like, well, y'all wasn't fighting and arguing and cutting up and doing this, that, and the other. Well, it's just not our personality to act like that. It was not my personality. My first husband, I was married 32 years, and I don't have any memories of either husbands raising a voice to me. I don't remember yelling at either one of my husbands. I just didn't have that kind of relationship. My first husband and I, we didn't fight. We didn't fight. I left before we could do that. I was ready to start fighting, but I left because I didn't want to start fighting him and fighting women. I left before I started fighting. I said, forget this. I'm out of here. And then the second marriage, um, I believe that it just wasn't in us to do that. At least me, anyway. I really can't speak for them. But for me, it's not in me to be arguing with no man. Not someone I'm sleeping with. I can't do that. Because if we argue, then I feel like we can physically fight. And I don't want to argue or physically, I don't want to do none of that with a person that I love and lay in bed with. No. My marital bed is supposed to be peaceful and honest. That's how I want my marriage bed. If it can't be that way, then my bed gonna just be me in it. And if I'm here, then at least I know there's love in my bed if I'm in it. And I know how to pleasure myself. So, in fact, I'm the kind of woman I show a man what I want. So when a man meet me, they be like, "Oh, baby, I can do this to you, do that to you." I'll be like, "What if I don't want that? What if I don't like that?" I mean, that's why when somebody talk brag about how good they in bed, I'll be like, "Whose bed? Whose bed are you good in?" Because until I teach you what I like in bed, you don't know if you're good with me or not. There's no way. I don't care how good you've been with other people. I don't care. You may have done all kind of stuff with other women. But until you do what I like on my body, I may not enjoy you. That may have worked on her, but that don't mean that's gonna work on me. So whatever you think you know about good sex, you can throw it out the window with me because I have my own way of doing it. Yeah. So I feel better. I don't know how or why, and I don't need to at this point anymore. I'm just glad that I have so much more closure. Some women are okay with a man just walking out the door, never coming back, and don't ask no questions. Some women are okay with that. I'm not one. He can walk out and be gone. Yeah, I can't stop that. But I do want to understand what happened. I do. And I'm thankful to Most High, even though it's what, almost 5 years later. It's almost 5 years later before the complete understanding came to me. And I didn't need to get this information from my ex. I mean, like, I didn't need to call him up or, you know, disturb his marriage. I didn't have to disturb his marriage to reach these conclusions, to solve my own divorce case. I didn't have to disturb his new marriage. I want his new marriage to be happy and to work. If his new marriage is happy and works out, then he will never come back my way. Ever, ever, ever. He won't need to come back my way. And it don't matter if I meet anyone new or not in the future. It don't matter to me. I'm good by myself. I'm good by myself. And I want to be better with somebody else. You know what I mean? I'm good by myself, and I just want to be better when I'm with somebody else. But that somebody else has to be able to see me. They have to believe in my love. You got to believe in my love. So I believe the next time, if there is one, I don't need one. I don't want one, guys. I don't want one, but Most High, He may have different plans. And so my only request is, Most High, allow the next person to know without a shadow of a doubt that I love them. Most High, let the next person be able to see me as their wife. Let them be able to see me as their only wife. Only wife. If there's a next one, Most High, if. And as you know, Most High, it don't have to be one. It don't have to be one. It really don't. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna focus on me and my kids. My grandson wanted to come over yesterday, and I was like, "Oh my God, you want to come see me?" And I let him know that this was a special day, and he's 11 and like girls. Okay. So we went skating and, he was all up in the girls' faces and stuff. My grandson, my grandsons, they like the girls. Okay. Caden, he work and take girls on dates. I mean, he like work, budget his money and take girls on dates. Okay. Shoot, I'm teaching him right. Okay. And, um, and then 11-year-old, we had skating. He got three girls all around him. I'm like, you 11 and pulling three girls and skating. Okay. That's my grandsons, okay? It's just who we are. We attract love. We attract people. People want to date us in my family. You know what I'm saying? Me, my daughters, my grandkids. We're just the kind of people other people want to date. Other people see the love in us. They see us, you know? And so it was nice, watching my grandson pick up the girls. I'm like, okay, okay. And he can come to me and talk about girls, and I'm like, okay. He trusts me, when it comes to his little love life at 11. Okay. And I know it's a lot of people be like, kids don't know nothing about no love. What you talking about, girl? You need to have him in the books. Well, he go to school, but he's just not into the books like that. But he do go to school and he passing. So, you know, his thing is the girl. So I'm teaching him how to, wean them out, screen them. You got to teach these boys this stuff. I listen to what they say they like and don't like. Mhm. I listen to them. You know, Last night, let me see, it was what, two white girls, and then the other girl, she looked like she was mixed or something. So, I mean, we live in a Oakland County, Michigan. Um, we live in an area where it's more like white people and Hispanic, more like Hispanic people, more Hispanic people in my community and white people than black. Michigan is mostly a white state anyway. Michigan is a white state. The most black people are in, like, the inner cities, Detroit, really Detroit, but then we have small cities that got a larger population of black people, but Detroit's mostly it, you know. And so, I know that wherever my grandsons go, based on where we live, uh, they're gonna have access to a lot of people that are not just black people. I get that. And I don't have a problem with them dating and loving who they want. They can, you know. But I will always give a shout out to the sisters. That's just me. I will always give a shout out to the sisters and hype us up. Why wouldn't I? But they can date like whoever they want. Like that one little white girl, I mean, she wasn't little. She was his size, like physically wise. But this one white girl, He lied about his name, right? He kept saying my name is Bob, but she didn't believe him. So she comes to me all aggressive. She was an aggressive white girl. What is his name? What is his name? And I was looking at her and looking at him, and I was like, well, what does he say? She says, Bob, but I don't believe him. That's just not his. What is his name? I mean, she was so aggressive, so confident. And I was like, I want to just skate off because if he say his name is Bob, then, that's it. Why am I going to say something different? Okay, so he skates off. So my grandson skates off. She still wants to know his name. And I said, okay, fine, fine, fine. My grandson's name is Cameron. She skates off after him so fast. Like, that girl, she's a good skater, excellent skater. She ran off to him so fast to let him know, I found out your name. It was so funny. It was so funny. But I am going to ask him, why you lie? Why you tell her your name was Bob? You didn't want her to know your real name? I just want to know at 11 years old, why would an 11-year-old lie about his name? Jesus Christ. So yeah, guys, I'm so glad to still be alive and solo, you know. Um for the record, my ex left me. So it's not like divorce this time was my choice. It's not. It's not my choice, but it's something that I must live with. It was chose for me and I must live with it. I don't want nobody else, to be honest. I mean, I did try a couple people after, I did date, check out a couple people, pastor and all that, and a Jamaican guy, pastor and a Jamaican guy. I did give two other people a chance after my husband, and again, even as old as we are, in our 50s and 60s, can't agree on commitment. At the end of the day, even at our age, men really just want the sex. They really just want the sex. Now, pastor, he was throwing the word marriage around or whatever, but he was too relaxed, too relaxed. Wasn't following through on, the things we agreed to, stuff like that. And I just don't have time. I'm sorry. After 25 years, and even though I believe I deserve all the pension, hey, I'm content with half. Pastor Newbie came on in, spoke to my soul, spoke to my spirit, calmed me down. Someone that's not even alive. That's how spiritual I am. I'm in the spiritual realm so strong till a person can pass on, don't even be here no more, and I'm still connected to him. Spirituality outlives naturality. I don't even know if that's a word, naturality. I don't know. But the spiritual world outlives the natural world. So I put more into my spiritual life. I invest more spiritually than I do naturally. And that's why I'm a broke down housewife. I'm a broke down housewife because I put more into my spiritual life than I do my natural life. I let my husbands go ahead and max out their natural life as much as they want, leaving me broke. But again, I invest more in spirit than I do natural. So I'm not saying money is not important. I'm not saying that. But, it don't run me. It don't rule me. You know, a man's money is not going to control me. It's not going to control me. And the main reason is because I'd rather have my own anyway. I've always wanted my own. I always wanted my own money until I let that marriage trick me out of it. I let the marriage trick me out of being independent. Being led by Somebody else's disbelief will leave you broke. When your husband don't believe in you, don't believe in your love, even though you're right there in his face giving it to him every day. Raising the kids, making sure all the bills are paid. I'm balancing the checkbook, making sure the bills is paid, giving him massages, intimacy. Not just sex, guys. I love massages. Like I used to love to massage his scalp. Just massage his scalp. I like to massage the scalp to, help people's minds to relax, you know. And for a while there, I used to love to give him facials. I used to give my husband facials, you know. Um, I love the massage the feet. I love the massage the feet, legs, just all over the body. I like to do massages, so he got a lot of massages and stuff like that. It wasn't just sex, sex, sex. No, I make sex fun. I like sex in interesting places, stuff like that. We traveled. Now, it was hard to get him to travel at first because he thought company trips or business trips was it. He relied on business trips as his vacation time, and he relied on like family reunions and stuff like that. Well, business trips are boring to me. They're boring, so I had to teach him how to let's go on real trips. Like the honeymoon, he took me to West Palm Beach for our honeymoon, and he probably thought that that was the one trip of our life. Like that was going to be it forever. I was like, no, I want to like this all the time. Now we go to West Palm Beach and places all the time. This is who I am. This is what I like to do. You know. So I had to teach him how to travel. Let's forget about what the job pay for. No, we can save our own money and pay for stuff we like. Your company is not going to pay for me to be naked on the beach in Jamaica. They're not. So we're going to have to save money and send me to Jamaica so I can be naked on the beach. So yeah, we figured that out. We took family vacations to Disney. We took the kids to Disney every year. We had like a timeshare and stuff like that. We lived a good life. Our kids traveled all the time with their AAU sports. We were always on the road, Indiana, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, just on the road always traveling for basketball. And we were an active family. Like I said, I was a good wife and mother. He just didn't believe it. He just didn't receive it. He, as an individual man, did not receive the blessing that God sent him. Period. So, but I still had to make sure the kids enjoyed life, even though we were screwed up. We were royally screwed up, but I made sure the kids enjoyed their life. And three out of the four kids actually stepped foot in a college. Two actually graduated, you know? So even though my ex will never, ever acknowledge any good I've ever done, he never believed in me at all. So I have to do it myself. I have to acknowledge my own self. I was a good wife and I was a good mother, period. Not perfect, no, not at all. But I was good enough. Trust and believe. And I have all the receipts, pictures, and everything to prove it. I got evidence of being good. So, and I also have, proof that I was not perfect. I got proof of my mistakes too. It goes both ways. I can prove my case either way. Prove my good and I can prove my own bad. People aren't used to proving their bad, of course. Who does that? But the point is, I'm aware that I have done bad things. I'm aware of it and I got the proof of it. Because I don't want nobody else to be able to, you know, put my bad on blast, and I don't have nothing to combat it with, or at least defend it or something. I believe in the right to know and covering my ass and all that shit. Yeah. So at the end of the day, my husband won because he found the strength and courage finally to leave. He said in that email that he should have left me, when the adoption thing wasn't going to happen. When the adoption thing was being questioned and all that, he put in that email, he should have left me then. He should have found the strength to leave me then. Well, I'm glad he found some strength. What? How many years later? At least 10 years. I don't know how many years later it was. I'm glad he finally found the strength. It took a lot of years to find that strength, but he finally found it and took it and ran off with a white woman. So, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now that I clearly understand what all happened and I'm free, I am free because I got all the love letters and emails and proof of how I was there for him. I raised the kids for him. I did what he wanted. I did what he wanted. Regardless to his disbelief, I showed up and showed the hell out in that marriage. I did it and I did it well. And just because he didn't appreciate it, he didn't acknowledge it, he didn't recognize what he had, that ain't got nothing to do with me. And to this day, I do not regret that we opened that marriage because he was already checked out. He was already checked out. And that email proved it. My suicide attempt proves it. Women don't just go around attempting to kill themselves after 15 years of marriage for no damn reason. I don't care what nobody say. At that point in time, I had never been with nobody else. Before my suicide attempt, I had never been with nobody. I was completely monogamous and sold out to him in that marriage for 15 years straight, 16 years straight. He had me on lockdown and I wanted to be. He had me on lockdown and I wanted to be locked down. Not the way he was doing it, no. I just wanted him to love me. I'm here for it. But he didn't want to. And you can't make somebody love you. You can't. No, please. In fact, one of the next diary entries from high school is called Sparkle. And I'm ready to read that one. It was the Homecoming King and Queen, which I just did some shorts on that recently. And I didn't even finish the shorts on that. The work is coming so fast on my channel, y'all. I can't even keep up with the amount of work I need to do on here. And so, but yeah, I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, um, God is good. I'm glad that I see things clearly now. And it took 5 years for Most High to roll it all out for me to see it so clear. And one email out of hundreds and hundreds, that one email was enough yesterday for me to lay a lot of stuff down. Some stuff Most High still want me to work on, yeah. But there's some things I can lay down. Like I don't want to just sit here and just read a bunch of emails, guys. I really don't. But you know, I was willing. I was willing, and I'm thankful that Most High and I were able to let that one email for now be it. And so I'll probably do some shorts on it today. Between today and tomorrow, I'm going to do the shorts to that live to break down each part of that email. So I can give a little more insight today. You know, I mean, I know that I wrote it back then, but I can apply today's wisdom and insight on it now. You know, because it's 13 years later. Now I can go back and see what that letter meant 13 years later. Now that he's married to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? It's easier for me to see now because I'm not under his thumb. I'm not. under him in bed. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to see clear when someone's sitting on you. It's hard to breathe when someone's sitting on you. It's hard to move when someone's sitting on you. So now that he's sitting on somebody else, I'm free. I'm up. I'm moving around again. And I got to get used to this, but I'm going to be patient with myself. I'm going to give myself long suffering. I'm going to, you know, have temperance with me. All that patience and long suffering and all that I gave him so he could just leave me after 25 years. I'm going to get that to me now. And people may say, well, you were ugly and you just ran through and you hit the wall and nobody wants you anyway. Good. Good. That does not offend me. I need this break. I need this time to love me like I loved him. But I see me. I believe in me. I know I'm good. I know I look good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to tell myself that every day. I look good. I like to wear cologne, and so I spray cologne on just because, you know? Um, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to treat me the way that I want others to treat me. I'm going to treat myself the way I want others to treat me. And I'm going to treat my others as well as I treat myself. So at the end of the day, it's going to be all good. I don't have to be legally married to somebody to feel like a whole person. I don't. But I am a flame. I am a twin. I know I have the gift of partnership, marriage, being together. I can work as a team. I'm a team player. I know this about myself. I have teamwork experience on all levels of life, for real. So I'm so excited, guys. I'm happy. One email knocked everything, knocked the ball out the park. That's just how crystal clear it was that he didn't want me. but but how do you explain it though? I mean, it's been explained. It's been explained. It's been explained. But I still ask this question. Not because I don't understand the answer, not that I don't, not because I don't know that there's an answer or not, not that. But why do people marry people that they don't love or believe in or mad at or, I don't enter marriage mad at a person. Don't enter marriage with all that baggage. Marriage comes with its own issues. And when you come in with obvious issues like she don't love me because she didn't help me plan this wedding, who gets married like that? And then if you don't believe I love you, then why are you forcing me? Why are you trying to adopt my daughters behind my back so early in the marriage? Couldn't you just talk to me about that before you go get paperwork from the court and all that? Couldn't you? I mean, like, that's so weird to me. And then to force me to adopt a child, that was just too much. That was too much. And I was dumb enough to do it. Yes, I did it. And, we got through it. We got through it. We got through it. So I know I did the best that I could. I know I did. And yeah, it was his goal to leave the marriage, making it seem like it was all my fault. I get that part. But when I read the writing on the wall, I see clearly now it wasn't what he wanted from day one. And he just tolerated whatever he tolerated until he couldn't no more. He probably didn't expect to have so much fun. He probably didn't expect for me to be who I was. He didn't expect all that. I mean, I really made marriage fun. We didn't just sit around the house doing nothing. No, I had the whole family into something. Everybody was always developing, growing, educationally, athletic wise, social wise, whatever it took. I made sure we all had what we needed. We didn't miss a family holiday with our family. We didn't miss holidays with families. We didn't miss family reunions. We always went on vacations together as families. As a family, we went, we just did everything. We had a wonderful, wonderful life in that regard. The only thing that really messed it up was his disbelief. And it was clearly stated in an email that he wrote. He didn't believe I loved him, even though all the signs were there. Everything to prove that a woman loved you was in that marriage, but he couldn't see it. And I'm okay with that now. His lack of insight, his lack of belief was never my problem. He made it my problem, but it never was. And I thank God for his grace and mercy to lead and guide me and the children through all that chaos and confusion. He led us through. We came out with some college degrees and stuff. Not bad. Not bad at all. So now my assignment is done over there. It's done. I will continue to, talk about stuff, but it's not going to be as deep as I need it to be. I can go back to just doing the tarot level now. For a moment there, I needed to take a deep dive into my own dark world, do some shadow work, and y'all just pretty much watch me put the tarot cards down for a minute. I'm not gonna say put the Bible down for a minute, but I just had to put all that religious stuff down for a minute. To me, the Bible, tarot cards, all that stuff is just religious practice. Religious practice. And so I had to put all that religious practice down for a minute and then just most high, you and me. What happened? I want to know. I want to know. So, over the past few months, I really haven't done many readings like tarot and all that stuff. I really haven't even done any Bible studies, really. All that has been kind of like on a hold. And and that's because I took a dive. I had to do some shadow work. Y'all just watch me do some shadow work. I had to go undercover almost and, go to a dark place to find out some truth. And it just happened. And yesterday, on the 13th anniversary of my first suicide attempt, I got that blessing. I got that blessing. 13 years ago, it started with a suicide attempt because I was just so broken. My husband had broke me down till I just wanted to die. His disbelief in me, our marriage, our family. In that letter, he mentioned that he regretted. He had regrets and he wished he would have had the strength to leave me. So he admitted that he was weak. He had disbelief, he was weak, but he was getting up, going to work every day, paying bills. That's why I went out of my way to make sure that we had dates. You know, I still treated our marriage, even though he said he didn't want me, and I ended up suicidal in the hospital. Even though I had five suicide attempts total, I did not miss a beat though. I didn't let the things he was saying to me discourage me from being the wife he needed anyway, from being the mother the kids needed anyway. That's because I did not believe that shit. Even though I didn't believe it, but knowing that he felt it, knowing that he believed it, still had an impact on me. It still broke me, even though I didn't believe it. But the fact that it was there broke my spirit, broke my soul. How I know my soul broke? Because I wanted to die, and I actually tried. That marriage broke my soul. That marriage broke my spirit. And until this day, he holds that same tone and attitude as that email. It was cold as ice. That email was cold as ice. And till this day, he got that same attitude toward me while he laying up with somebody else that he cheated on me with. So, but I loved him until he left. Even when he left, I was asking for a hug. I was on the bed in tears with my arms open on my knees, on my knees on our bed, with my arms open saying, baby, just come hug me. Just hug me. I don't know what you're going through in your head, but whatever you're going through, I know he was a cancer patient at the time. He was on chemo and radiation and stuff at the time. But I said, baby, just come hold me. He just backed up and left. Instead of coming toward me for a hug, he backed up and took off. Never came back. That was it. He didn't say why on that day, but now I see why. I was able to read it for myself. I already lived it out, guys. I already lived out this, but it's after the fact. And whenever you do investigative work after the fact, you're going to discover some things that you wouldn't have noticed because you were just up too close to see it. I was so busy working my ass off as a wife and mother, trying to build generational wealth as he was tearing it down. I'm building wealth as he was tearing it down. I'm building and he tearing down. I'm building and he tearing down. I'm buying properties for everybody. I wanted us to have a home and each one of our kids to have a starter home. He starts selling houses. Why are you selling houses? Where are the kids supposed to live? What is supposed to happen? What is going on? The other woman. Them other women, them other people in the background, they can really mess some stuff up. I mean, him divorcing me has affected 3 generations. It affects me, it affects my daughters, and it affects my grandchildren. This one divorce affected 3 generations forever. Now we're going to recover, of course, but the recovery shouldn't have to happen if had he been a believer, had he believed. And then I made a video a few years ago about non-believing spouses. You know, I believe based on the Bible. Now, the first marriage, um, we were both believers. I believe we were both believers. And until this day, I believe he's still a believer, the kind of believer that I am anyway. But the second husband, I can't tell you what type of believer he is. I can't. I cannot tell you what he believed. His mind changed. His attitude changed. His behavior changed. From the day we got married until, he just changed too much. There was no consistency. No matter how nice of a man he is, he's a very nice man, well spoken and polite and all that. But which makes you think there's more there. But the inconsistency can really drive a person crazy. It really can. So now I know I'm not as crazy as I thought. Well, I never thought I was crazy, but you know what I'm saying. 5 suicide attempts. You cannot like not be called crazy. You can't not be called crazy after that. But now I know that I'll never have one again because he and all his bad decisions are gone. They're not in my life anymore. And I have a spiritual team now, a strong one. I was missing, I didn't realize I was missing a key player on my team to help me with this. And Pastor Newbie's on board, helping me keep it together. Pastor Newbie's, it's almost like I could feel Pastor Newbie's arms around my body, like holding me, like I got you. Let him go. Let what he did to you go. Our former pastor, even though he's gone, in the spirit realm, he's holding me. And uh, Cameron, my grandson that's 11, he came and stayed the night with us. He's here tonight, and we went skating and stuff. And I actually hugged him twice. I said, I need a hug twice yesterday. I got actual physical hugs from him. So I'm good, guys. I'm good. I have my spiritual pastor, you know, I have a spiritual pastor. That way, no man that's alive, like a natural pastor, can throw me off because my main overseer is spiritual. And I do better with spiritual relationships than natural relationships anyway. I do better. And as far as the natural world goes, again, this is just me talking, me talking. As far as the natural world goes, whenever I need to be touched or, do something more physical, dancing or whatever, I'll just go to the couples club. Just go to the couples club and enjoy myself. Come home and enjoy my family. Keeping my family safe. Like I said, I don't want no more people, lovers, somebody I'm sleeping with, stressing my kids out. That was too much stress on my kids. Him stealing their girlfriends and stuff. That was just too much. Too much. So, I'm going to keep my kids safe. I'm 55. I'm too grown. I don't need to be bringing people around. I don't need to do that. My daughter is 30 years old. She is grown, grown. She don't need no more stepdaddies. She don't need to meet nobody. And then my other daughter, she grown, grown. She got a husband and 8 kids. She don't need no man. She got one. What I mean? She don't need no more men in her life. She don't need no more stepdaddies, none of that. So I've made it past that point. And I thank my ex for, you know, all the years that he did hang in there. I mean, he didn't want to be there. I get that. But I still appreciate him sacrificing his time, energy. You know, I know I was a placeholder. I know. But if I was a placeholder, then you were a placeholder too. You can't not be a placeholder if I'm one. But in his case, uh, he wasn't holding up anything. I don't want nobody else. I don't want anybody else. I'm content. I was content with him. I was happy with him. Now I know what my grandmama meant. After my granddaddy passed away, she said that, he was a good enough husband for her. She didn't need nobody else. Now, was she tempted? to, talk to people. And, she was tempted at times, yeah. Because, I mean, he was dead for 30 years. She lived without him for 30 years. My granny was in her 50s. She was in her 50s when my granddaddy died. And she didn't remarry. She was with nobody else. And she passed in her 80s, so she went like 30 years with nobody else. She might have talked to some people on the phone or whatever, here and there, whatever. Who knows? In 30 years, come on. But she didn't bring nobody around to mess with us. She didn't bring nobody around where we couldn't have access to her. She didn't let herself get all broke down and angry and whatever, where she couldn't be there for us. So, dealing with men. So I appreciate that about my granny. I'm glad she set that example for me. I know it's an option for me to just keep my legs closed and focus on me and my kids. And I don't know why people think that's so hard or a bad thing. It's not. It's not negative to stay to yourself and love the people that love you, or at least teach the people under you to love you, to love themselves. That's how. The only way I can teach my kids to love themselves is to love myself and teach them to love themselves through how I do me and them. I got to show them the love that I want them to have for themselves too. And I believe that if I keep dealing with men, even men at my age, even these old men at my age, still doing wild stuff, cheating on women and all that, running around, leaving wives, throwing away generational wealth. They still gambling out here. These husbands still gambling because of their feelings, because they don't feel happy. Because a man don't feel happy, he has the right to throw away the whole family's bank account. Because he don't feel happy, we got to be broke. What the hell? Y'all need to get out of y'all feelings, these men. Because you feel somebody ain't good. What? So based on men's feelings, generational wealth can just be thrown out the window because of men's feelings. Wow. Because of the way a man feel, he get to rob his wife of the marital assets because of how he feel. He has to, he gets to control the money because of how he feel. That's against the Bible, but we'll go with it. So yeah, I got a lot to talk about on this channel. But it's no longer gonna come from a place of, you know, why my husband left me, why he loved me, why I wasn't good enough, why this, why that. It ain't gonna come from a place of that. Not that it's ever really come from a deep, deep place of that, but when somebody leave you for somebody else in a secret, deceptive way, when they didn't have to, the marriage had been open for years and years and years. Our marriage had been open for years. So for him to leave because he don't want to share his wife no more, that was ridiculous. He wasn't even sharing me that much anyway. And he had complete veto power. He had complete veto power. I only dated the people that he approved. So if I met someone he didn't approve, they were gone. If he said yes, that was okay. Cool. The guy that actually lived with us, our boyfriend, the guy that actually lived with us, we went to a polyamorous meetup together downtown Detroit and picked that guy out together. So this man cannot tell me that's why he left. That's why I'm glad God showed me the email, an old email from 13 years ago, God showed me that this man repented ever being with me and felt like I did not love him because I didn't help plan the wedding. So, with that being said, I am no longer going to be hard on myself about that marriage. I am no longer going to blame myself for anything in that marriage based on that one email. I got enough out of it to satisfy my spirit and my soul, enough to just be like I was before I had to take a little, do a little shadow work. I had to dive in over the past, a couple of months, do shadow work. And so now I can come out of the shadows now and step back into the light and continue my channel as I've been doing all along. How cool is this? Life is good, guys. Life is good. And so tomorrow, I'm gonna take Cameron to church. 'Cause I know he had wanted to go to church because one of his friends um, said that he saw me and Carson and Kaisis at church a few weeks ago when I took Kaisis and Carson to the black church because they go to a white church. The white but the white people send buses out to get kids, and so the bus takes them to church from their daddy house. But when they stay the night at my house, you know, I'm gonna take them to the black church. So that way they have both experience. I don't have nothing against white churches. White churches are the ones that got like the money to send buses to get you. White churches, they tend to have the money to, do a lot of the programming, the fun stuff that kids like to do. So I don't have a problem with white churches at all. They make life fun for families. Black churches though is where they gonna learn spirituality. They gonna learn how to endure black family life if they, as long as they're a black man, they're gonna have a black family life as long as they're black men, no matter who they date or marry. Any woman they marry or date is going to have a black family experience. So I want to take them to the black church too. I want them to know both sides. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. I get that. But there are many, many churches out there. And I want to make sure that they get a taste of what their granny is like. You know, I know how my granny got down at church. And I want them to know how their granny get down at church. Okay. And I want them to get a sister that's saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, speaking in tongues. That's what I want them to have. Now, if they don't end up with that, that's fine. I mean, whatever. But I can at least take them to where you go find the type of women, you know, that I want them to have are at. So he wanted to go skating to check out the girls at skating. So I took him there. Well, I'm gonna take him to church tomorrow so he can check out the girls at church. It's more than girls are everywhere. Church, school, skating, bowling, they're everywhere. But I want to show him the kind of girls that I was. Okay. If you want a woman that's gonna pray you out of anything, pray you up and out of anything, then you need to go to this kind of church. These are the girls that are being raised to pray, raised to stay with you, stay with you. And like I said, the first marriage, had I stayed, I would have been fighting the whole time, trying to make him be faithful to me. And I didn't want to do that. I mean, I just felt that energy. That's how important him being monogamous for at least a season while I was, pushing babies out and stuff. Can you just be faithful for 2 or 3 years while I'm pushing babies out? Please. You know what I mean? But I knew it was too much to ask. It was too much to ask because That's not how we entered the relationship. We did not enter the relationship, the marriage, anything on that note. So for me to ruin our marriage, staying and begging the man to be faithful when it's just not in him, and making him feel guilty and all that kind of stuff, that was not a turn on to me. I did not want to live my life like that, begging a man to be faithful forever. And he making babies out there and stuff, and and my kids don't know who their siblings are and all this kind of crazy stuff. I didn't want that. So I walked away from that. Thank God. But the second marriage, it was based on I'm a virgin, I don't believe in divorce, I'm monogamous, it's one on one, blah, 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 blah. All lies. But because that's how we entered the marriage, it should have stayed that way. It should have stayed that way. And because it didn't stay that way, here we are today. Here we are today. And because we are here today, I'm able to go back and look and see what happened now that I'm out of the frying pan and the fire. I'm out of both now, so to speak. And now I'm able to look back, write about it, tell about it, you know. Hopefully I can do TV, movies, all kind of stuff. I'm just gonna ask, put it out here. Ask. If you have not, it's because you ask not. I'm asking for what I want. I want my life story to be big time and put money in our pocket because he ran off with some other woman. I mean, I was content with whatever my husband provided, I was content. We were gonna live off of his one income and no questions asked. I never made him feel bad about his income. Right now he made good money, but I'm talking about retirement money. His retirement money don't look like the right now money. Two different pictures. Right now he may look like he got it going on. But the moment that retirement hit, whoo, it's basically poverty level. You know? You know? I'm just saying. I'm considered poverty now. His My alimony is more than the pension. My alimony is more than what the pension is gonna be, is what I'm saying. So I didn't marry him for his money because he in a lot of ways don't have any. You know what I mean? In a lot of ways he don't. Just the paycheck. But the paycheck is gonna go. That engineering paycheck is gonna be gone. And then he's gonna be living below poverty. Because I'm considered poverty now. I'm considered poverty right now, guys. I mean, I have enough money to pay my bills and stuff, thank the Lord. But I'm just saying, it's still considered poverty. And I was willing to live in poverty with this man, even though he didn't even think I loved him, even though he thought I was black, evil, something negative. Although I was doing all the stuff that wives do, I did above and beyond. How many wives just do their taxes, the family taxes? Come on now. How many wives, make sure that we get PhDs because we're both smart people. We're very smart and we need, you know, to maximize our intelligence. So, had we stayed together and he'd been obedient to Most High and believed in me, believed in what we were purposed to be together for, we would be doctor and doctor, co-pastoring a church, living a beautiful life after retirement. Our retirement years, would have been at a church together with all of our accolades. That's what God showed me. But he couldn't see it. He couldn't believe it. So he left me holding this dream by myself, birthing it by myself. It's almost like he and I had like a second marriage, and it was a spiritual marriage, but he didn't want the spiritual marriage. He just wanted the natural marriage, a child, a wife, and sex, just basic, simple shit. Well, I'm too spiritual for that. I can't limit myself to just being at home, available to have sex for my husband when he get home from work, with dinner ready. I love that, but that's not, I'm more than that. I'm more than having dinner ready for when you come home to massage your feet. I'm more than that. I am that, but more. I want to do that. I want to cook for my husband and massage his head, massage his feet and body and all that. I want to do that, but I'm more than that. I'm not limited to that. Having your plate ready and warm when you get home and massaging your feet and scalp. I have a spiritual side that says you're Dr. Leisha and you're pastoring a church, and whoever I'm married to has to be right there with me. Period. And Most High is still following through with the plan with me without him. But Pastor Newbie's on board, which makes sense since he won't do it. Pastor Newbie has been the overseer of my spiritual growth in the past, you know, my soul's movement. So he's back and giving me good counsel. I mean, like giving me some good counsel here. And I know it's straight from Most High because Most High speak to me directly. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful. I'm very thankful for this lift in spirit, this additional information that I actually understand and can make sense out of it. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow. So I just want to report back to you guys and share what I've been going through. The other night, I did not end up going out the other night. I was supposed to go out with this couple, but um, they have like kids, like sitters and all that kind of stuff. Things just didn't iron out. But you know, I feel good about making this an option in my life. I feel good about knowing how to protect my family, even at this stage of my life. I know how to protect my family still, and or I can do better. I see where I can improve. You know what I mean? I see where I can have love, enough love, where people can touch me and we can, have a good time without me overextending myself. I don't have to be some sexual freak or sexual, like a circus freak or something. You know what I mean? To somebody. I can keep my sex to myself and not be exploited for my sex. And just, let couples, spoil me, take me out to dinner, dirty dance. I go home, take care of myself the rest of the way, and I'm good to go. Good to go. But seemed like there was one more thing I wanted to address. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so I didn't make it out that night, but we'll come up with something. If not that couple, some other couple. It may be like, I'm trying to like maybe have like maybe two or three couples that I will meet up at clubs or places, from time to time. Nothing too heavy, you know, nothing too heavy. That's gonna be my life, unless Most High have another assignment. Now, I'm going to always obey Most High. So no matter what I say on this channel, I will stop and obey Most High. You know, we always can come up with some plans like, okay, today I'm going to go to McDonald's and Walmart and I'm going to do this and do that. That's our plan for the day. It's okay for us to have ideas and plans and do stuff. He don't want us to be robots for him. But there are times when he specifically say, forget the Walmart thing, go here. That's what we got to know. We have to know when he is speaking to us. And I'm one of those people. For whatever reason, he the one that created and made me. Okay, I'm just the one that's interpreting me. I'm my interpreter. Um, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Jeez. All right, it'll come back. All right, well, I'm gonna get off of here. Actually, I'm gonna get off of here. Um, I think I've said all that needs to be said. I just want to thank you guys so much for being supportive of me, listening to me, whether you understand it or not, or receive it or not, or like it or not. I still appreciate that you're here. And like I was saying before, I appreciate everything that my ex did, you know. And now that I understand the circumstances that he was working under, he endured 25 years of marriage, knowing that I was not the one for him. Now, granted, he's the one that set it up that way, okay? He's the one that set it up that way, okay? But at the end of the day, regardless of how it all started, he did endure 25 years in a marriage that he didn't want. He endured 25 years in a marriage where he felt like the woman didn't really love him. You know, I to me that's just as worse as what I went through with him. That's just as bad. I endured 25 years with someone who wasn't sure about me. I endured 25 years with someone who didn't think I loved him. I endured 25 years with someone who was secretly hating on me, tearing me down. But I endured. We both endured harsh circumstances in the name of marriage, in the name of tradition, in the name of whatever, whether good or bad, we endured, whether good or bad. And as with any twin, whether he was my real twin or not, we will never know really. We will never really know if he was my real twin or not. We will never know. There wasn't enough belief. There wasn't enough there to get the benefits of being twins. We needed more belief, more faith, more love. We needed more communication. We needed more. We didn't have what it took. If we had it in us, We didn't put it out there. If we had it in us, we didn't find out. So that marriage never, it never launched. It's almost like that marriage was breach, or I don't know. It was like a stillborn. The entire marriage was like a stillborn. But now I can, I mean, I have forgiven myself, but now I know more so why. And it feel good. That's all I can say. I mean, that's all I can say, guys. It just feels good. And over time, oh, yeah, yeah, I had made a video about believers being with non-believers. Yeah, believers being with non-believers. So I'm gonna pull that video up because in the word, it does say something about when the believer is with an unbeliever, stay with the unbeliever. Stay with the unbeliever. But if the unbeliever wants to go, let him go. So I stayed with my unbeliever and I loved him anyway. I didn't hold back no sex. I didn't hold back no family gatherings. I didn't hold back family vacations. I didn't hold back, sending our kids off to college and stuff. I didn't hold back on anything. I did not hold back with my non believer. I didn't hold back. I just loved him. And even when he left me, I was asking for a hug. I asked for a hug as he was leaving me for somebody else, guys. That is not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I just wanted to be loved. I wanted someone to pay me attention, not just use me for sex and raising kids and then throw me away when it's convenient to go run off with somebody else. I just don't see how I deserve to be treated that way. Even if you didn't think I loved you, unless I act like I hated you, what does it matter? If someone, quote unquote, love you or not, if they're there doing the job, what's the difference? As long as I didn't hate you and was treating you as well as I was treating myself, love is just a word at that point. Yeah. Love can be filled with evidence or it can be empty. On that note, guys, I'm going to continue to love myself and love my kids. And I don't, now the Bible may, okay, but I, Dr. Alicia the preacher, no longer connect my sex. Okay, my sex is no longer connected to marriage. It's not. Although I believe sex is a type of marriage contract, I do believe it. That's where children come from. That's where two families come together. two families come together, not just a man and a woman in bed having sex. No, two families, strands of DNA come together. So I guess I'm just taking my time and talking. Why I keep rushing off? It's like I'm trying to rush myself off, but more keep coming out. Oh goodness! But I'm gonna turn this off anyway because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Thank you guys. You guys went through shadow work with me. Oh my god, we went through shadow work together on my channel. And what triggered it was he actually married the homewrecker. He actually married the homewrecker, but it just pulled me in to just look a little closer at what actually happened, you know? And I wish them well. I wish them well, even though you know, they're going to have their challenges. They're going to have to because, I mean, like, how they got together, you know? They got together off of while he was still with me. They got together while he was still with me. So I wish them well, but what can you expect? And I already know. I've always known. And I told him this. And people don't believe you, and that's okay. He's never believed me. He admitted it. He's never believed me anyway. So, but I told him that he was the last one for me. And I mean it. Unless Most High got something else in mind, I still mean that. He's the last one for me. He was that last husband for me. Mhm. And I'm good with it. Really. I mean, it took me a minute to get here. It really did. And that email, reading that email helped kind of like just seal the deal. I don't even need to read no more. It's kind of hard. It's hard to read the coldness. It's hard to read someone say they don't want you. It's hard to read someone say, because you didn't want to adopt a child with me, I should have just divorced you. And it's not that I didn't want to adopt a child. I wasn't ready then. I just wasn't ready for more kids. I didn't have a job. I wasn't independent. I took the risk of getting married without being fully independent yet. I took a risk and it blew up in my face. So now I know that I gotta be independent for the rest of my life. So if that's the case, then why get married? If I gotta be independent for the rest of my life, now that I understand men will put a ring on your finger and say, I'm gonna provide and take care of you and all this kind of stuff. But then the moment you ask for anything, it's a problem. It's a problem. Well, it's not really a problem because after the kids get to a certain age, then the woman can just go get a job. She don't have to ask you for no money. As long as you paying the bills and doing what you always do, when she go get her job, then that's so she can buy the things that you won't buy her. Women that work, it's because their husband is not generous. That's the only reason why a woman have to work, because her husband is not generous. He don't appreciate the fact that she is at home with kids. And he feel like just feeding her and putting a roof over her head and maybe buying a pair of shoes every couple of years, a couple of outfits every few years or so, that's enough. She shouldn't complain and want nothing else. Well, perhaps. And if she do want something else, then she should have the liberty to work and pay for it herself without being punished. The husband should not punish her because she's working and buying things for herself. His provision should not alter or change because she wants to buy things that he don't want to buy. So it just makes sense why my husband cheated me in the end because he felt like I never loved him nor deserved him in the first place. Instead of me feeling like I wasn't good enough, didn't measure up, you know, and stuff like that, it's really, that's really not the case. I ain't got to kill myself no more because I think I'm not good enough for somebody when the truth is they just never believed me in the first place. His name calling and cheap shots throughout the marriage was all intended to break my spirit down. And it worked. It worked. But because it's not my core, it's not my belief, it was just temporary. And now that I'm at liberty, I'm free, he's freed me. Now nothing, there's nothing in my way. Nothing. And I like the way I look. I like the way I feel. I like the way I act, you know. Now, I do want to improve my behaviors. I do want to improve them, but they will come in time. Now that I accept the fact that I am not the sole blame of my husband leaving me for another woman, I'm not the sole blame. In fact, I'm not to blame at all. I had 5 suicide attempts for nothing. They just didn't mean shit now because this was never my fault. This man asked me to marry him and put a ring on my finger, feeling like I didn't love him, believing that, and then treating me accordingly. That's not my fault. My fault is marrying someone outside of my normal dating routine just because I knew him since ninth grade did not mean that he should be able to skip the normal way that I date people. So that was on me. That was on me. Other than that, I love that man. I did. I loved him. I gave him 100%, 100% of me and my kids. I gave so much of us till he stole my daughter's girlfriend. He was so comfortable. So comfortable. So, like I said, never again. I'm gonna learn my lesson. Got my ass beat. A spiritual beating, y'all. I got a spiritual ass beating. When I say God didn't let up on me, he ain't let up. Spanked my ass. God will, he chastens us. He beats our ass in the spirit. I got a serious spiritual beat down, and I learned my lesson. And then he showed me that email yesterday so that I can really get it, really get it, have closure, seal the deal. Don't have any more expectations. I'm content with what I have. Most High is my provider, and I don't need to be afraid. I don't need to be afraid. I'm just thankful to have ever, been provided for. I'm thankful for, the alimony to have given me, when it's all said and done, 5 years to recover. And I'm using these 5 years to recover. I'm using it for what it's meant to do. And that's what I'm doing. Because I know once I get out there and start working, if I have to go that route, um, I got to be ready. I got to be ready. And so this is my recovery time. I've been working, getting my family back. The divorce turned everyone against me, so to speak, to a degree. You know what I mean? Not like 100%, but you know what I'm saying? And so I had to reach back and make sure I grabbed my daughters. He was trying to, where he didn't legally adopt them in the beginning, he was trying to steal them at the end too. He was trying to steal my daughters at the end. He was trying to adopt them without my permission in the beginning of the marriage, and then tried to end the marriage by taking them, turning them against me, making my daughters think that he was a good man and I was a bad mother. How you gonna try to turn a woman's natural? You're the stepfather. You're the stepfather. You're not even their real dad, so to speak. And so you come into our life, leave me for a white woman, and expect to steal my daughters too? Boy, bye. Boy, bye. That's why I just gave him the boys. Here, take the boys that we adopted. You take them and get your greasy, nasty hands off my daughters. I'm sick of this. Sometimes you think a man is marrying you for you. Sometimes he wants your kids. He don't even want you. He wants your kids. But why? Well, in the one daughter's case, he trying to have my daughter and have her girlfriend too. What? You don't get to do that. That's disgusting. So I snatched my daughters back and threw him the boys. Here, you take the adopted boys. Focus on them. Give me my girls. Don't be marrying my kids, my daughter. He married my daughter behind my back. She got a real dad and a real mom out here. And he walked my daughter down the aisle. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I wasn't invited to my own daughter's wedding. But, you know, he got to enjoy a moment out of my life. And I can't get that back. So he over there laughing in my face, having orgasms with his white woman, knowing what he did to me. Knowing what he did to me. So, again, I got my daughters back. I fought hard to get my daughters back. And I got them. And I got my grandkids. So, yeah, he may have won his white woman, got what he wanted, and broke me to get her. He broke me down to have her. Broke me to get her. No problem. Cool. No problem. He won. Well, I won too. Because I got my daughters and I got my grandkids. I won too. I got my life. I got my health. I don't take medication for nothing. I don't take medication for mental health. And y'all might say, well, you need to. Hey, I ain't mad at you for saying that. I had 5 suicide attempts. I'm crazy as fuck, okay? So yeah, but I don't take no mental health medication. I don't take medication for high blood pressure, diabetes, none of that stuff. Let me knock on some wood, because I'm not bragging. That can change over in a second. The moment I'm talking about it, it can change. So it's not bragging. It's just saying, hey, God delivered me, and I don't have a scratch. He delivered me from 25 years of a marriage with basically not enough love, not enough, not enough. And after 5 suicide attempts, My daughter's girlfriend being stole by him and all this kind of all this stuff, guys. I'm not even, I'm not on anything. Now I smoke weed. I smoke weed. That's just because I like to do it. It ain't like it's crack or I'm not trying to justify smoking weed. Come on now. I'm not trying to justify it. But I'm just saying that, it's not like it relaxes me. It relaxes me, and it allows me to put together all these ideas, you know. So, but other than that, I don't really get high. I smoke such low grade weed. It's not the good stuff that give you like, take you on a nice little ride. I trust Most High too much to give up that much control. I just can't afford to give up that much control. I can't get high. Well, I won't say that. What I'm saying is I choose not to. I choose not to smoke the good weed where you get high. The weed I smoke is the stuff that you can buy at the gas station, over the counter at the gas station. I don't like cigarettes. I don't like the way cigarettes taste. I don't like the way cigarettes smell. But it's something about weed that I can do. So I do, you know. Most High ain't got a problem with it, so I ain't got a problem with it. And if you have a problem with it, then, pray. Okay. All right, people. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. But I feel like I'm back now. I feel like I'm back. I feel like I went through a few weeks of just going a little deeper into my shadow work. I had to go deep for a few weeks here. And that's why I've been going live a lot. But I like going live, so I'll probably still keep doing this live thing. I don't know. I don't know. I rather record because when I record, I'm able to, like do my hair. I've taken the time out to, like do my hair, put on some clothes. You know what I mean, some actual decent clothes, and maybe like brush my teeth and maybe put some lip gloss on or something like that. I like the presentation when I record. I usually have my little setup, something. But live, I'm usually just laying in bed. Like I'm in bed right now, just laying in bed talking to the phone. Hey, maybe YouTube is my new husband, okay? Because I'm like laying here on the pillow in the bed, and the phone is right here, and I'm running my mouth. So instead of making a husband stay up and listening to me all night, I mean, I use sex for everything, for real. Like, okay, my husband and I, if I needed a deep conversation out of him, if I needed a deep conversation, because he was so shallow with me, but if I needed to go deep with him, I knew how to get it out of him. I knew how to, you know, get a deep conversation. He knew sex was going to come. So, yeah, crazy, crazy marriage, but it was fun. We made it fun. Crazy and fun at the same time. Crazy and fun. Yeah, yeah, it was what it was. And it's over now. And I understand. Because I'm just a person who needs to know. And I'm glad God showed me. I asked him and he showed me. And I was able to read it. One little email did it. And I don't even want to read no more emails, y'all. I'm done with that. I got my answer in one email. And when I say I got hundreds of thousands of emails, oh my God. I don't even want to do the Dear Diary thing. I don't even want to do that. I'm gonna just leave the Dear Diary thing alone. I'm gonna leave the emails with my ex alone. All that's shut down, at least for now. And I don't see why it would ever need to come back. But I think what I'll do is instead of like reading that stuff or sharing it here on YouTube, just let it be material for my books because I've been using it for my books anyway. So I'll just let it be material for my books, you know, and the emails are proof because, emails are emails. And, those are my evidence of the stuff that I write in my book. I got emails to prove everything that's in my book. So instead of like putting this information here out on YouTube for absolutely free, I will go ahead and just continue to use that information for the book. Because in the book, I can continue to keep explaining. Because I noticed that when I was live reading the letter, I kept wanting to explain different sentences or put some, emotion to it or whatever. And it didn't always seem appropriate to do. I felt like I needed to just read it first, but I could not contain myself. So, all right. So, yeah. So I will save that stuff for the books and like workshop. I want to put like together like workshop type material. Everything's not going to be books. Some stuff is going to be like workshop where people can fill in the blank, you know, stuff like that. Because again, I have a PhD in college teaching. I should be a college professor somewhere. But instead, y'all, I am going to, uh, just do workshops and put together small little pamphlets, one sheet one page worksheets and stuff for people to uh, learn, you know, be able to break stuff down, Like, for example, I didn't know that Cudjo Lewis was my ancestor. I didn't know. But it's something in me that need to find certain things out. Even if my brain don't know it, need to know it. It's something about my heart or, it's something in me that triggers certain things for me to know. And I mean, like, no one in my family knew about this Cudjo Lewis guy. Nobody. I'm the one that discovered it in my family. And it's just undeniable, especially when I can see people in the family that actually look like Cudjo Lewis. Is weird. I can almost see Cudjo Lewis in one of my grandsons. It's so weird. Really strange. But all right. Okay, I'm done, guys. It feels good being back. Because when you dive and dive deep to do shadow work, I mean, like, it get ugly. It get ugly trying to slap your way through some water. You know what I mean? Slap your way, through water trying to, swim or whatever. Catch your foot in the sinking sand of the ocean. Whew. So I'm back to the surface level. I'll be sounding like I used to sound, doing lives like I used to, or I wasn't really doing lives too much, but just doing regular videos. I'm gonna kind of go back to where things were, but I just had to do some shadow work real quick, and I'm glad you guys have been supportive. My videos are getting decent views. The lives, I mean, I get about on average, let's say maybe 100 views on average with my lives, and I'm like, okay, that's not bad, you know. I would like more subscribers. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. So anyone that's here now, if you can just click subscribe. I need 13 more subscribers to get to 2,000. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers before the month is out. I need 2,000 subscribers before the month's out. Who can help me out? 13 more subscribers before the month is out. Yeah, that's what I need. So tomorrow I'll probably go live with comments. Yeah, I'll go live with comments, and because I want to get to 2,000 subscribers. I need 2,000 subscribers on tomorrow. Tomorrow. I think I can get 13 in one day, guys. I don't even need the whole month. 13 people, that's all I need, 13 or 12. I might be down to 12 now. Who knows? All right, guys, thank you. Y'all be blessed. Love you. Stick with me on this channel. This is the crazy channel. I know. I be saying some crazy stuff. And I know I be all over the place because, I mean, my life has been all over the place. My life has been all over the place. But I'm repositioning my life like a puzzle. I'm putting the puzzle pieces of my life back together, you know. And yeah, that's where I'm at. I can't believe I'm happy again, guys. I can't believe it. I mean, I know I was crying. I be crying and stuff, but that's just me. I'm a cry baby like that, you know? I feel deeply and I am the committed type, you know? I care about people. I really don't like being out here like this. I don't, but it is what it is. I'm learning to, accept it and just do what I do. But I think I'm done with the oversharing, you know? I know I'm guilty of oversharing sometimes. And that's normal for people who, you know, don't have enough people in their life to help them, don't have enough love and support. Again, I was married to somebody for 25 years who didn't even believe I loved him. So when a man don't even think a woman love him, people know how men act if they feel like they're not loved. People know how they act. There's no kindness, not a lot. But he's just a naturally quiet, calm person anyway. But that don't mean that just because someone's calm and, nice acting, that don't mean they like you. Whew. That was surface level kindness. It was, well, not even kindness, but just surface level niceness and something. I don't know. But it's over. And now I see that I'm better. I see that I'm better. I see that I'm just not the blame to the extent that 5 suicide attempts would justify. I'm not the blame for the failure of that marriage to the extent that 5 suicide attempts would explain. And after reading that email yesterday, I realized that I was just overly invested the whole time. And he never was. He did the bare bone minimum. And I let him. I let him breadcrumb me on his way on out the marriage. He breadcrumbed his way right on out. And I let it happen. Most High, he know what he doing. I have to trust God. Trust God that all that meant something. Even if it don't feel good, it all still meant something. It did. The kids are, I ain't mad at my kids. We endured it. We went through a lot and we're still standing, you know. We have our struggles. We have our addictions. We got our addictions all right, but we love each other. We stick with each other through it. Yeah. And, just because somebody's a pastor of a church or a minister or a deacon or whatever, it don't mean they got their life all figured out in one day. It just don't. I think more pastors need to be honest though. They need to be honest about what they really got going on in their life. And if your members stay with you because they understand, great. And those who don't want to rock with you like that, then let them go to some other church. But at least you're not lying to your members and living double lives. I'd rather be on here on YouTube letting y'all know that I smoke weed and that I date couples sometimes. And that I personally don't want to get married again, but I definitely support people who got kids, and want to be married. If you want kids and want to raise some kids, do it in marriage. That's what I recommend. I have no regrets raising my kids in marriage. I have no regrets for my choices. I have no regrets. I don't have no regrets. I just feel sad and hurt that I allowed myself to love someone who did not love me back. I just feel bad about it, but at the end of the day, isn't that what being a believer is all about? At the end of the day, that's what being a believer is all about. Loving people when they can't love themselves. Showing people the way through love, through relationships. And and it, and in my marriage, if I led my husband to his new wife, if I led him to her, then so be it. If she is his salvation, then I did a good job. He got to her. He got the prize. And if I was needed for him to get there, if I was needed, then so be it. If he could not have gotten her without me, then so be it. Help me. That's what help me's are for. It depends on what the man need help with. How about that? When Most High sent Eve to Adam, you know, she was sent to help him with the work that Most High had for him to do. So I was sent to this man. He didn't necessarily believe in me. He didn't like the wife that God sent, and that's fine. Whatever. I endured it. I endured it, and it's up for God to settle it. Most High will settle it. Of course, the courts on this earth are ran by people, and they don't always get it right. They don't always get it right. So that's where Most High come in. For example, the law of the land says two men can get legally married. Whether right or wrong, whether right or wrong, the Bible suggests otherwise. But does it really? You know, I'm gonna do a little more research in that, but I have done like uh shallow level research on it. I've done shallow level biblical research on just how wrong is it for, same sex to have sex. Just how wrong is it? And where does it say it at? And under what circumstances is it speaking? I mean, it's just a lot you got to look into. Just like the whole thing with marriage. I mean, we have to look real close in the Bible at that. You know, who had monogamy? Who had polygamy in the Bible? Who had it? Why? And stuff like that. Some people don't want to get too deep. They just want to say, oh, polygamy is wrong, is wrong, is wrong, is wrong. But then all the Bible greats got multiple wives or husbands. There are women in the Bible that's had more than one husband. So, why are we afraid to go deeper with these topics? Search the scripture, all the way, through and through. Because sometimes all it takes is one word. Like for me, that one email fixed everything for me. For me, I did not have to. I don't have to read all these other emails I thought I was going to have to do. I am truly led by Most High. I think. Well, I know I'm led by Most High, but in this particular case, I think I'm being led because again, I was more than willing. I mean, I would no, I won't say that. Okay, once I once I obeyed, I became more than willing to read whatever emails, even though it feel so intrusive to me. It just seems so intrusive. Like it just seems intrusive to me, but that's me. But I gotta obey Most High, right? What we think and feel may not be what Most High is thinking and feeling. He may tell us to do something that goes against what we think and feel. So I think sharing personal emails and stuff is intrusive. I do. That's what we're taught in our social world, right? Among our family and friends, right? That's stuff you don't do. You don't share personal stuff and stuff like that, right? But Most High said do it. So I did. I obeyed him, you know, found one of the emails. I read it. And because I did, now I feel like he's saying, good job. Don't worry about the rest. I got it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just had to take that one step of obedience. Read just that one. And now I'm not stuck reading them all. I'm not stuck. But I see where just write about it. Just keep doing what I was doing. So all these past couple weeks of me going live and just purging like never before. Like I don't think I've ever quite been this way on this channel before the way I've been these past couple weeks with these lives. I don't think I've been this way before. But regardless, here we are. Here I am. And I'm ready. I'm ready. I had made a video on live once saying I hated this job. I didn't want to be no hood preacher. Who wants to be that? I want to be a mega preacher. I want to be the Black Joyce Meyer. I want to be Sarah. Was TD Jakes Sarah Jakes or something? You know what I'm saying, guys? Who want to be some hood preacher smoking weed and stuff? I got a PhD. I mean, like, what? I'm supposed to be like a much better image than this. I'm supposed to be doctor and doctor, co-pastor of a mega church with a husband. Not some ran through hoish of a, wife to whole pipeline type of situation in the hood kind of thing, you know? But here I am. Here I am. I guess nobody else wanted the job. So here I am. Here I am, y'all. And I can't be hating on the women that did it the way that I saw myself doing it. There is someone in my that I've known in the past, she and her husband. I mean, they're college educated. They have a church together. They have another business. They have a church and a daycare. They have a church and a daycare. And they live in their house is probably like, maybe not $1 million home, but let's say maybe like $700,000 home or something like that, maybe 750 or something like that. And so they're like living the life that I thought I was going to be living. I was so ready for that. Driving expensive cars and, Land Rovers and stuff. I just knew I was headed to that. Shoot. God was like, girl, bye. You act like you ain't from Detroit. Girl, bye. You act like, you act like. That's what you acting like. That's what you act like. Yes, I got something for your ass. Again, that's how that inner hood is that God voice to me, y'all. I can't explain it. It is what it is. Hmm. Some people feel like God's voice is like, my son, my daughter, I love you, and I'm here for you. And, some kind of like, I don't know, fake, whatever we consider a holy voice. You know what I mean? You know how we have like images of angels in our mind, sweet, presentable, what if God is nothing like that? What if that's just what we think God is like? I'm just saying. To me, God, I mean, not that he has physical characteristics per se, but to me, he's some black guy in the hood. To me, I mean, like, I guess if I was an Indian woman, he would be an Indian man in the hood. Or so, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And if I was a white woman, my God would be a white guy in the hood. I'm just saying. I don't know. I'm silly. Oh God, that's how I know I'm coming back, bouncing back from the dark shadow work side because I'm being silly again. Okay. All right. So let me get off of here because I am so crazy. But I love it. I love my crazy, y'all. I'm not gonna fake it. I do love me. I like my crazy, and it is what it is. I haven't always been this way. I haven't. I was very well polished, but all my polish got smacked off of me. So now I'm just raw out here. Just raw out here. It is what it is. But I have almost 2,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. If you're listening, please subscribe. I just need like 13 more subscribers. Now I have 2,000 subscribers. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is crazy. You know. Now, granted, I would love to have like 100,000 subscribers. Yes. But I'm not there yet. And I am so happy to have almost two. And it's taken 7 years. I've been on this thing for 7 years. Okay. I've been working this for 7 years and only got 2,000 subscribers and don't even have it yet. Okay. Keep trying to get there. Okay. Bye, guys, because I just keep on talking.